If you ask who Batman's strongest enemy is, you'd probably name the Joker, Bane, or the Riddler. But maybe the biggest threat to the Dark Knight is someone who can take on any shape, anyone, and anything. Today, we're taking a deep dive into the mysterious world of Clayface, from his tragic origins to his future and the DC cinematic universe. Stick with us. Basil Karlo, the first Clayface. Basil Karlo, the first and original Clayface, was introduced in Detective Comics number 40. Karlo was a former actor who went crazy when a studio decided to remake one of his best movies with a new actor. He wore a mask inspired by one of his roles and started murdering the cast and crew. His revenge reached its peak when he tried to kill Julie Madison, Bruce Wayne's fiancée, but he was stopped by Batman and Robin. Initially, he was just a murderer without any supernatural powers, but later, after being exposed to the DNA of other Clayfaces, he gained the ability to shapeshift. He formed a group called the Mud Pack, which included his successors, solidifying his place as the most prominent Clayface in DC history. Matt Hagen, the first shape-shifting Clayface. Introduced in Detective Comics number 298, Matt Hagen was the first Clayface with shape-shifting powers. He was a treasure hunter who, after coming into contact with a radioactive protoplasm, was transformed into a new kind of being. His clay-like body allowed him to change into anything or anyone, but to maintain his powers, he had to immerse himself in the radioactive pool. In the animated series Batman the Animated Series, Hagen's story was changed. He was an aging actor who was addicted to a regenerative cream. This version of Hagen became one of the most memorable takes on the character. Preston Payne, the acidic Clayface. Preston Payne, the first Bronze Age Clayface, appeared in Detective Comics number 477. He was a scientist at Star Labs who tried to cure his glandular disorder using Hagen's DNA. The experiment turned him into a Clayface whose body was constantly melting, so he needed an exoskeleton to keep his shape. Preston's story crossed paths with Sandra Fuller, another Clayface, which led to the birth of their son, Cassius Payne, who had unique powers. Sandra Fuller, Lady Clay. Sandra Fuller, known as Lady Clay, was introduced in Outsiders number 21. Fuller, a member of the organization Cobra, underwent an experimental surgery and gained the ability to shapeshift without needing radioactive materials. Besides changing her appearance, she could also copy the powers of those she mimicked. She joined the Mud Pack and fell in love with Preston Payne, becoming one of the main figures in Gotham's criminal underworld. Cassius Clay Payne. Cassius Payne, the son of Preston and Sandra, first appeared in Batman number 550. He was born with the supercharged version of his parents' powers and could detach parts of his body to create independent beings. However, using his powers caused him intense pain. Peter Malley, the mutated Clayface. Peter Malley, one of Cassius Payne's mutated creations, was introduced in Batman number 550. His powers were similar to Preston Payne's, and he could melt objects by looking at them. Ultimately, he was stopped by Agent Cameron Chase.
Todd Russell, the darkest Clayface. Todd Russell, who first appeared in Catwoman number 1, was the darkest version of Clayface. He was a former soldier who underwent government experiments. After escaping the lab, he went on a horrible killing spree in Gotham. Catwoman defeated him and kept his head in a freezer. Johnny Williams, the 8th Clayface. Johnny Williams, the 8th Clayface, was introduced in Batman Gotham Knights number 60. He was a firefighter who was turned into Clayface after a chemical explosion. Williams was distressed by his condition and was mind-controlled by Hush. But in the end, he helped Batman defeat Hush and regained his humanity before he died. So, that's all the different versions of Clayface that have been created so far. But now let's get into the best Clayface comics to get to know this character better. Batman Lil Gotham number 9. This comic was written by Derek Friedolfs and Dustin Wynn. This is by far the most friendly of the best Clayface tales, happening in the all-ages setting of Lil Gotham. Damian goes to a comic convention with Bruce to meet one of his father's heroes, Simon Trent, the actor who played the Grey Ghost. It's a reminder of how actors and superheroes can inspire greatness in their fans. Clayface represents the opposite side of the spectrum, though, as an actor obsessed with the past and squeezing every dollar he can out of the people at the con. It's a fun and surprisingly smart take on the nature of fandom and its many forms. Batman Volume 2, numbers 19 through 20. This comic was written by Scott Snyder. Following Damian Wayne's death in Batman Inc., Snyder and Capullo had to deal with the loss in the pages of their Batman run. They snuck their emotional exploration into a story of identity theft via Clayface. In this story, Clayface steals Bruce Wayne's identity to commit a series of robberies. This causes all kinds of problems for Batman and results in some great cameos, including the first in-continuity appearance of the suit from Batman Beyond. It ultimately allows Bruce to confront his own guilt as he faces himself and accusations about being a failed father. Clayface is a pure villain here, but he provides an incredible cathartic finale for the greatest trauma Batman has faced since losing his parents. Detective Comics Volume 1, numbers 967 through 973. This comic was written by James Tynion. This is the culmination of Tynion's run on Detective Comics since its relaunch in Rebirth. Clayface has been one of the most dynamic figures on the team, and this story brings forth all of his most fascinating aspects. Clayface's new friendships, his hopes and self-doubt, and the dangers of doing the right thing in Gotham all come together to craft a truly tragic tale. Only time will tell, but this story will likely redefine the story of Basil Karlo forever. It's a great Clayface story, no matter what comes next. Joker's Asylum Clayface number 1. This comic was written by Kevin Shinnick. This is another story where Clayface represents the negative side of nostalgia. He invades a movie festival, terrified that his acting career might be defamed. The real joy of the story comes from the way Kelly Jones depicts Clayface, though. Jones's style elevates the grotesque and perfectly captures random elements, which all combine to make one terrifying version of Clayface. His scale and amorphous form have never been presented as well as they have here. Jones is a perfect artist for Clayface, and we can only hope he'll return for more work with the character soon.
Clayface has appeared in TV series and animated shows many times, but his most important and best version was in Batman the Animated Series, which portrayed the Matt Hagen character in a believable and tragic way. He also showed up in the series Batman Caped Crusader. And in TV shows like Gotham, there were also references to his character and his unique traits. Of course, he was also in the Harley Quinn series, and each of these shows portrayed different sides of his character. Now we get to the future of Clayface. A Clayface film has been officially confirmed by DC Studios. This horror thriller film is set to be released on September 11th, 2026. This movie, which is being made in the DCU, isn't going to be a Batman film and will likely tell a different story about Clayface. This movie will be part of the DCU, and in it, we'll get to know the vibe and atmosphere of the DCU's Gotham along with Clayface. James Watkins, the director of films like Speak No Evil, Bastille Day, and The Woman in Black, is in charge of directing the Clayface movie. Mike Flanagan, the director of Dr. Sleep, is in charge of writing the screenplay for the Clayface film. Filming for this movie has already started and is in progress, getting ready for its 2026 release. Matt Reeves is also a producer on the Clayface film. Tom Rhys-Harries, a relatively new actor in the film industry, landed the main and important role in the Clayface film. Who is Tom Rhys-Harries? He's an up-and-coming Welsh actor who has received praise for his role in the Apple TV Plus series Suspicion alongside Uma Thurman, the action movie Kandahar with Gerard Butler, Guy Ritchie's film The Gentleman, and the film The Return. Well, friends, that's our intro to the character of Clayface, one of Batman's most dangerous enemies. Clayface isn't just a clay monster, he's a multi-layered character, and each of his versions has a unique story.
If you liked this kind of video, be sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on new videos. Until the next video, take care.